All right, ladies, we are going to get started. Happy Monday. Thank you to everybody that is hopping on. I'm really excited tonight. We are trying to really get into a better rhythm of having like different people speak on our calls and just like share their different experiences. I know that's always really helpful for me, like as a new coach, and then all the way till now, it's just helpful to hear from other people in the business that are successful and hearing like what's working for them. And it's good to hear from people that are not just from our personal team, right? So, okay, we're going to kick this off. I first wanted to do a quick shout out for people who are on the board. We have Hannah, who locked in Success Club. We have Danny and Eve, who are at SC2. And then we have our success starters in the making over here. I also wanted to remind you guys that we have the success starter retreat happening in May. I posted the details in our team page. So if you have any questions on that, that's posted. But yeah, if you see somebody up here that you want to shout out, definitely shout them out in the chat. We still have plenty of time. Today, yeah, is the 23rd. So we still have a week and a day, basically 8 more days. So that's still plenty of time to lock in Success Club. Just a few quick updates here. The summit ticket, I believe it's $175 right now, this month. So if you have not, I think somebody on this call asked me about it the other day, but if you have not purchased it, make sure you purchase it so that, you know, you have your ticket and you're not spending, I think it goes up to like $230 or something. If you lock in Success Starter, they will refund you the ticket. So if you still are running, so like Sarah on this call, if you hit Success Starter, or excuse me, when you hit Success Starter, you'll get refunded for your ticket, which is really great. And then, yeah, anyone that hits Success Starter, you guys know you get your free ticket to Summit, which is a really big deal. But if you have not purchased it, buy your ticket. Like no matter what, you have to go to Summit. Summit is a really big freaking deal. Really exciting that it's in not Austin, San Antonio is where it is. I don't know why I have Austin there. But I'm really freaking excited about that. Okay, Success Trip dollars, they are doubled in January. So if you aren't sure about this or haven't heard about it, basically your Success Club points equal trip dollars for the annual Success Club trip. So you'll see people going on it in March of this year. It's in Riviera Maya. They just announced that it's in Punta Cana for next year. And so basically how that trip is free is the Success Club points that you earn equal trip dollars, and in turn it pays for your trip. So the more Success Club points you earn, the more you pay off your trip. So like for me this year, the trip is free because of the Success Club points that I've earned. So in January, the trip dollars double. So that's why you want to really make sure that you're pushing in January, because you can double the amount of money that you're paying for your trip. If you have not opted in, I'm trying to think if you can opt in right now for the 2024 trip. I don't think you can yet, right?
I haven't seen an email for that yet.
Okay. So when that comes out, we'll let you guys know, because you are going to want to make sure that you are opted in no matter what, so that you're on that list. But yeah, we'll definitely make sure that there's a post about that as soon as they let us register for it. And do not count yourselves out. Like I know there's some girls on this call that got their invite to the trip for this March, that were like, oh wow, I had no idea that I was going to get invited. Like did not expect to get my invite, and they got it. So never count yourself out. It's not about putting like hundreds of points on the board. It's just you hitting Success Club consistently will get you there. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my girl, Sarah. And I'm going to let her like tell her story. I always think that's really cool to kind of learn about how a coach started on this journey, but she has a really cool story. She is someone that I met when did I first meet you, Sarah? May? At the first retreat that Autumn did for her program. And then I got to see her again because she earned the retreat again a few months ago. And so I got to see her in LA, which is really cool. But just, I love her. I love her heart. I love how she shows up authentically. I just feel like she is like a really amazing hard worker and has a lot to offer when it comes to just this business. And so I'm really excited to hear from her tonight. I will stop my share. Sarah, I don't know if you need to share your screen, but you should have access to if you need to.
Nope, I'm just going to gab.
Okay. I love it so much.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me on, Heather. Sorry, guys, I'm overcoming a cold, so my voice sounds a little funny. But if you don't know me, then you'd think this is my voice all the time. I'm not a smoker, I promise. But you guys, this is an amazing opportunity for me to talk to you, and I'm super thankful to Heather for even inviting me to do this. I think of every opportunity like this as really good practice. That's what I always think of like team calls for. I'm a very shy human being. Coaching is slowly helping me kind of get out of my shell, obviously. But I remember my first Zoom call, like, I don't know, 3.5 years ago-ish was when I started coaching. And I was so like nervous to even get on the phone call. Like I was so nervous. And then my coach like wanted me to unmute and introduce myself. And I was like, what? I have to do that? And this business has brought me so far in the past 3.5 years. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. But just a little bit of my backstory. I am an art teacher, elementary art teacher. I don't know if you guys have any teachers on your team. Go teachers. It is quite the job these days. I'm a mom of 3. My boys are 7, 7, and 9 now. Yes, twins. I'll tell you a little bit about that too. Like I said, I've been coaching 3.5 years. I just locked in 1 star at the end of last year. So super excited about that. And I'm from Pennsylvania. So I don't know, you guys are probably from all over, but I'm in Pennsylvania. Oh, side note too, Heather is actually living right now where my twin sister lives at Fort Leavenworth. So my twin sister, her husband's in the Air Force, just like Heather's husband's in the Air Force. So they, I don't think they've actually met yet, but they were at a ball or something together and she thought it was me, even though she knew it was her because I told her my sister's there. So funny side story, but yes, I'm a twin. I have twins. My husband is also an identical twin. We're all identical. Like it's really weird and freaky. My twin is not married to his twin though. We started dating in high school. So that would have been weird because they've been more like brothers and sisters since high school. So that would have been really weird. But yeah, twins we did not think ran in our family. Like there are no other sets of twins, but I think there's got to be something there with genes. Okay, so story of how I got into Beachbody. I was never into health or fitness or anything. That was my twin sister, Becky. She was like always the running person. Like she did track and field in high school and cross country. And I thought she was crazy and I laughed at her. I was like, why would you run for fun? That's just stupid. It's my favorite form of exercise now. So never say never. I never was in if you guys are 90s kids, you probably grew up on like a lot of processed food. That was me. I never thought of anything else of it. I loved going out to eat and always ordering like something and then a milkshake. Like I was a hardcore sugar addict. I also had a side baking business leading up to coaching. So there was always goodies and cookies and sugary stuff around and it never really bothered me. But then I got pregnant with the twins, which quick backstory of their pregnancy, because it's always very interesting and it kind of led me to where I am. I was on bed rest with them from 16 weeks to 32 weeks because my water broke at 16 weeks, which if you don't know, that's really, really bad. And usually they literally sent me home I was in Colorado at the time, visiting my sister, Becky. They sent me home from the ER with instructions on what to do when you start miscarrying the babies. Like that's the paperwork they gave me at 16 weeks when my water broke. They couldn't keep me, they weren't sure what was going to happen. So that's what they sent home with me. But they're miracle babies. I was on bed rest. I was in the hospital away from my then 18-month-old son. Thank goodness it wasn't COVID times. They could come visit, but they only visited once a week. So it was really, really hard for me. I felt like I was missing everything with him, which he was starting to turn into the terrible twos. So my husband was like, "You're not missing anything. This is terrible. Like, you don't want to be around for this." But I was missing it, and it was awful. But I kept telling myself, I'm doing what's best for the other two. I'm doing what's best for the other two. And they miraculously stayed in until 32 weeks, which was a miracle in itself. Had a little bit of a NICU stay, but are now 7 and doing fabulous. But it all started with that pregnancy. I think it was the combination of being on bed rest for so long. I wasn't in shape before that. Like I said, I never did fitness before that. So I wasn't in shape before that, but after that, it was really, really bad. We lived on a 3rd-story apartment. I could barely make it up the steps without huffing and puffing and getting out of breath. And like, I just felt like I was dying all the time. My joints were in so much pain. So I did actually start getting into fitness a little bit on my own. I started trying to run because that's what Becky did. So I thought that's what I should do. And slowly I kind of sort of liked it, but that wasn't the kicker for me when it came to really becoming passionate about health. It was the nutrition side of things. Something happened after having the twins with my body that suddenly I had food intolerances all over the place. I don't know if that's happened to any of you. I didn't realize it. I was super duper stubborn about it. It took me a long time to even put in the mindset that, I'm going to have to probably look into what I'm eating, because I didn't want to. But I actually saw a free 7-day sugar detox group on Facebook one day. And I was like, that sounds like something I probably need. Didn't know the person, just joined. It was a free group. I just joined the group. And after 7 days, my life was completely changed. I was like, holy cow, it's my nutrition. I should probably take a little bit deeper of a look at this. So the coach at the time, who actually is not my coach right now, the coach at the time, she did her due diligence, invited me to her next actual monthly challenge group. I was like, yeah, I'm all about that. This is amazing. I love the structure. I loved the meal plan. I love the accountability. I was like, let's do this. She said, oh, it's going to cost you this much. And I was like, oh, never mind. I thought it was free. See ya. This is the power of the follow-up, because I thought I was a freeloader all the way. So she followed up with me 2 or 3 weeks later. I don't even know how long it was. And at that point, I was back to my old ways, knew I needed help. I had loved that group so much. I didn't tell her, but I was pretty much at the point I was like, I'll pay anything to get into this group and start getting that support. So I did. I joined. I actually started with 2B Mindset was the program I started with, and eventually got into the workouts too, but I needed the nutrition support. So I started with 2B Mindset, and honestly haven't looked back ever since. I have been for a whole year, and I did switch coaches. I actually switched to somebody more local. I wanted the local community big time, and someone at my school is a coach, and I didn't even realize it. Didn't even know it. I didn't even know what the whole Beachbody world was whenever I joined that sugar detox group. I just thought it was a sugar detox. But I joined, and it took her a whole entire year of asking me to coach to even coach. So that's another kind of lesson. Do not give up on your people that are saying no to coaching, because I am forever grateful that she never stopped asking me about coaching. I had all the excuses, time being my biggest one with 3 little ones, working full time as an art teacher. Time was my biggest one. Also confidence. I didn't think it was coaching. I'm not a coach. I'm not the type to coach. I'm too shy. I don't have that in me. But I was just at that point in May of 2019 of just exploding with I was starting to post pictures of my food, and I was like, and then she asked me that one more time, maybe she was going to give up on me. I don't know. I was like, okay, let's do this. I'll do it. And I think I was so excited to share with people at that point that I just hit the ground running, and was just not that it was perfect, it wasn't, but I was sharing pretty consistently and have been since then, because I just absolutely love sharing this with other people. So yeah, fasting forward, because that was a long story short, I consistently built through the pandemic. I didn't go to any summit or anything before that, which I think is kind of a blessing in disguise, because I would have known what I was missing. whenever the pandemic hit, and I didn't know like live events or what I was missing. So I never really realized what that probably did for those of you that have been coaching that long. But, slowly built consistently, building the belief in me, building the belief in what this business could do. And then 2022 happened, which was insane. I woke up in January 2022. I chose my word of the year as bold, which I know some of you probably know, especially my team that's on here. And I used that word was in the front of my brain every single decision I made, especially related to coaching in 2022. So if you haven't chosen a word of the year, I know it's a big cheesy thing to choose a word of the year, go do it and make sure it's a word that is going to push you like way out of your comfort zone. That's why I chose bold, because I am not a bold person. If you're a bold person by nature, maybe don't choose bold, choose something else. But I am not a bold person by nature. Choosing that word for 2022 really showed me what I'm capable of. The first time I used it, I wasn't invited. Well, I was a diamond at the time. So Julie Voris was doing a dinner for diamonds before the first super weekend in January, which was huge of her just to like offer to do that. It was the Friday night before Super Saturday, and it was for diamonds. And I was so scared to go to that dinner alone because nobody else on my team was going. I was like, I can't do this. I can't go alone. Like I'm not going to know anybody. That's the person I was. And look at what I've done that in 2022. But I went, and that was like my first little baby step of, oh, I can do things alone and I can do big things. And if you know anything about Julie Voris, she will breathe that belief into you or kick you in the butt to get you to believe that about yourself. So heard a lot of tough love and truth love that night, which I love. And then the gut protocol retreats happened in 2022. And they pushed me harder than I think I've ever been pushed in this business, and really showed me what I was capable of when it came to the number of people that I could actually help with this. I've always been a Success Club hitter. There was 1 month, the month I went back to teaching after I started coaching, I was SC4. It's the only month I didn't hit it. But other than that, like that's always been like a steady thing for me. But the gut protocol pushes really pushed me to work hard. I wanted nothing more than to go on those retreats. I thought maybe this is for me. Maybe this is why I've been diamond so long. Like I always had that in my head. Like, why have I been diamond so long? It's like, maybe this is why I've been diamond so long. Maybe it's meant to be. So I really leaned into my, my current community that I had, and I really leaned into working and connecting with and finding new people that needed help with their gut health. And obviously that gut health was something I was passionate about. I was excited about with my background and my belly issues with nutrition. So it was like the combination of I think that real excitement and a lot of hard work and sacrifice and sleep lost, because I'll talk to you about my power hours and stuff in a minute, that got me to hit. I don't even remember what my final numbers were, but the first time I think I helped like 60 people, I think. And then the second time, I think it was a little more than that, like 7. I can't remember the exact numbers. But it was huge. Like those are not numbers that I hit for SC ever. It was usually like, now I'm averaging SC 10, SC 20. So that's huge for me. And then one other thing that really helped push me in 2022 is we do our super weekends in Pittsburgh, and they were asking for people to share their stories up on stage. And I actually saw the Facebook post. The first time I scrolled right by it. I said, that's not for me. I don't have anything valuable to share with anybody. I'm too shy for that. Let somebody else do that. And then I was like, oh, bold. Crap. I scrolled back up and I commented on it, and they said, okay, Sarah, we'd love to hear your story. So I spoke for the first time into a microphone first time ever into a microphone on stage at Super Weekend. I think it was August of 2022. And through all of that, through the work that I did for Gut Protocol, through, pushing myself out of my comfort zone to go with Julie Voris and to speak at Pittsburgh, and even to go to LA and Florida with Autumn, like how scary was that? The first one was scarier than the second one, because obviously I kind of knew what to expect, but holy cow, was I nervous to go on that trip. That was the first time I ever flew in a plane alone. So super scary, but all of those things have really, really pushed me even deeper into the belief for what this business can do for us personally. as humans for what it can do. Like there's so much else, obviously health-wise and stuff, when it comes to confidence and really learning what you're capable of and learning who you are. 2022 was it. So this is 2023 now. I chose a new word of the year this year. My word of the year is leap. I am finally, and it's not something when I stepped into this, I ever thought I would want to do. It's not something that I really ever thought about until the end of last year. But this is my last year of teaching. I'm done in June, and I am so ready to take on coaching full time. So leap is my word of the year. I am using it for, everyday things, but this is like the year I take the leap of faith, and I'm done. I'm done with teaching, and I get to coach full time. And I have a countdown started on my mirror, inspired by Heather and her Post-it note countdown, to just count down the days until that's done. So that's like my story. But I told Heather I would share 5 tips for you guys. If you're like my tips are mainly like for full-time working busy mamas that don't think they have time for this business, because that's where I was before I started. Or if you're not a full-time working busy mama, or if you're not a mama, I think these apply to anybody, because life's busy for everybody. Like regardless of what your situation is, these 5 things are things that hopefully will be able to help you. So if you're like a paper pencil person and you want to take notes, you can. I'm going to talk fast, so you can always go back and watch the recording if you want to. And if you have questions, I don't know if you guys do this, but you can type them in the chat or whatever. It's totally fine with me. If anything comes up, you can just type them in the chat, and I'll either get back to them or I'll see them then. Okay. Tip number 1. This is my biggest tip. Non-negotiable power hours. And maybe you're a power pockets type of person. I know I have a few of those on my team. I love that people can do that. But for me personally, I have to have a planned set power hour, because sometimes my power pockets are interrupted and I need something that's non-negotiable. Yes, I still work in pockets throughout the day. Pockets of time are amazing, and that is a way that you can help to build your business. But I am the person that I have to have a non-negotiable time. Just like I tell my new ladies whenever they're getting into their workouts, I'm like, what is a time that you absolutely know you will not be interrupted, regardless of anything going on around you? For me, that's 5 a.m. for my workout. For my power hour, it's at night. Now, I know some people that do it at like 4 a.m., but I'm not quite there yet. I don't know if I'll ever be there, but I do my power hour usually 9 to 10 every single night. During pushes, it goes later than that. So if you have a really big goal you're working on, there's push seasons in this business, and there's seasons where you can kind of work at a regular pace. Push seasons, I go longer than 9 to 10, sometimes really long. And I'm not going to tell you why, because it may be overly dramatic. I don't always sleep a lot. I don't like to sleep. I hate sleep. I know. I need to work on that as a health coach. Okay. When I do my power hours, I am mainly focusing on connections with new people, invites, and follow-ups. Those are the three main things that are like my non-negotiable, because I don't always get to it all. Nobody's perfect. I don't always check off every single box on my tracker, although I'm sort of OCD, so I try. But my main goal during my power hours is my connections. So whether that be new friends, new followers, I have like a connection message I like to send to them. And then if I'm seeing their stories or whatever, sending hearts or connecting with them that way. I am hardcore into inviting. I love inviting. I've never been scared of inviting in this business, because I absolutely love it. I can't believe how much has changed my life. And I am not ashamed to ask anyone else to do that, because I'm glad somebody asked me. And then follow-ups, because I was a follow-up, and most of my girls that have thanked me multiple times for changing their lives have been follow-ups. So I believe in follow-ups. Those are the 3 things that I do I say every single night. Again, not perfect, but I try to be as consistent as possible with it. And again, you can work in pockets too. Stories for me, that's like pockets of time throughout the day, but I don't always story live. Don't feel like you have to story live. Sometimes I update my stories later. That's okay. Nobody knows what time you're doing all the things. Sometimes I story yesterday's story today because I didn't have time to share it and I forgot it was on my phone. Another thing I told my girls on a call the other day, because most of them are busy full-time working mamas, is when it comes to your posts and stuff, like if you hear your trainer say something during the workout, you're like, oh, that'd be perfect for a post later. Type it in your notes section of your phone really quick. You don't have to post it right then, but I know that I will forget about it if I don't put it in my phone or whatever right then. So that's tip number 1, power hour. Find a time in your day that is non-negotiable for you. Tip number 2, is for what to do on the weekends. Because obviously, if you're doing your power hours with connecting, inviting, and following up, you're still not doing all the things that you should really be doing as a coach. So on the weekends, that's when I, like if I am needing ideas for reels or content for reels, I'll just like take videos. They don't always necessarily even have to do with what a sound or reel is, but like I'll take videos of my food or videos of me working. I take videos of me working out every day. That's kind of what we do as coaches. But I'll take different videos of things, pictures of different things. I will sometimes come up with like, do a quick paragraph to post later in the week. Don't overthink your posts or your reels either. What is the quote? 90% perfect and shared is better than 100% perfect and never shared, because it'll never help the world. Something like that. So don't worry if they're not perfect. Sometimes I have no reels content at all. And I'm like, oh, it's 6 o'clock. I need to get dinner on the table. What am I going to post today? I have no idea. So literally I will scroll reels. I'll find one I like. I plop up the phone. I like do something really quick, put something on it and post it. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. And usually those stupid ones are the ones that get more views. I don't know why. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but be consistent with your reels. If you are interested in growing on Instagram, that's how you do that right now. But I can batch those out on the weekends. Weekends are also the time that I do check-ins most of the time. Like if I'm checking in with my girls or coaches. And also when I schedule out anything for my challenge group, I always schedule it out on the weekends. That way I don't have to think about it during the week at all. During the week in my pockets is usually when I go into my bod group and I'm like, and yes, I'm a teacher, but that does not mean I don't get on during my prep time to get into my bod group and comment on my girls' posts if my stuff's done. I'm like, oh, I need to do that. Okay, tip number 3, this is a short one, but a quick one. And you guys have probably all done it if you've been coaching for any amount of time. But if not, you need to read the compound effect and actually use it, because it's very easy to send out 10 invites if you're not overthinking it. So easy. 10 invites take what, like 5 minutes? Not long at all. But it's also very easy not to send out 10 invites. And that's going to compound over time. You send 10 invites a day, for a few months, holy cow, you're connecting with so many people. You don't send out 10 invites a day for however many months, you're not connecting with a lot of people. So read the compound effect if you have not. That's a game changer and one I recommend to all of my coaches. Number 4, this one's probably the biggest one. It's made the biggest difference for me, and it's something I always rolled my eyes at the beginning of coaching. Oh, by the way, I rolled my eyes at PD and the compound effect too, and it's changed my life. So if you're rolling your eyes at personal development, just do it. You have to find your style. I don't like the mushy-gushy ones. I love the business ones. Like my favorite one is the 10X rule. I love the 10X rule. It pushes me like beyond belief. Okay, anyways, 4, one thing I always roll my eyes out, but it's huge and it's what pushes me through like the exhaustion sometimes, is vision, which I'm sure you guys have talked about vision, but it's the thing that's going to help you if you struggle with the follow through. If you struggle with the follow through when you're tired, when you're busy, when you feel like you don't have time, when your business doesn't seem like a priority, because if you're a mama like me, there's like 50,000 priorities at all times. Vision is what helps you follow through to get to those goals, especially when life gets hard. So whenever I was working on the gut protocol push the first time around, I literally had this vision. Like I would close my eyes and I would imagine myself sitting poolside, looking over, and Autumn's like sitting right there. And you can, when you have a powerful vision, you can hear things, like hear girls talking, feel the warm Florida sun, because I'm from Pennsylvania and it's cold here. Like all of those things were in that vision. And that's what I used late at night when I was really tired. Also, music and Energize are amazing when you're really tired. But when you're in those push seasons, vision is what is going to pull you through. This is another quote that I love. Make your vision so clear that your fears become irrelevant. It's the thing that'll help you get over yourself. It's the thing that will push you past whatever you're scared of or what people think of you or any of that. When it comes to your vision, your personal vision for this, and if you're a new coach, because I think we have some new coaches on here, you might not have a clue what your vision is for this business, and that's okay. I didn't know for like the first 2 or 3 weeks, I had no idea what vision even was, and then I started listening to calls like this and started getting an idea. But if you do know what vision is, Are you playing small? And if you are, why? And usually it's like a confidence issue. You need to give yourself permission to dream big, because this business can do whatever you want. Whatever you want, this business can be the vehicle to get you there. So don't limit yourself. Own your vision, know that you're worthy, know that you're capable, know that it can be real. You can close your eyes and you can start envisioning what you want out of this business and what you want it to do for you. And then start acting like, and I say what you want it to do for you, but also who you want to be. Because I think this business, like I said at the beginning, is a huge, like, you know, it kind of gets you to be to the person you envision for yourself. So be open to that and don't limit yourself on what you can do with it. So have that powerful vision. And then last tip, this is something I got from teaching, and I still use it even though I'm 13 years in. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. None of us know what we're doing, especially as new coaches. Sometimes we still don't know what we're doing. I've been doing this 3.5 years and I'm still faking it till I make it sometimes. But you have to speak and act in confidence like you are that person you're envisioning yourself in the future. I speak and act like I'm a 15-star diamond every single day and I'm a 1-star diamond. But people following me don't know that. People think I'm a big deal, which is ridiculous. Like, I think they do. I don't know if they do or not, but sometimes I get that idea from them. Like, really, I'm just a 1-star diamond, but, and don't say just, like that's huge. I'm really proud of that accomplishment and worked really hard on that. But people don't know that. And I am going to be a 15-star diamond coach someday. See, confidence, I'm going to be there. So act like that now. And whenever you're in those moments of doubt, or like, I don't know if I should send this message, or is this what I should post? Be that 15-star diamond. She's not going to be afraid to post that post or send that message or whatever it is, because it's changed her life. And it already has. Even if you've been doing this for like 1 week, it's changed your life in some way, shape, or form. Something about this, the community, the coaching, the healthy journey, whatever it is, has changed your life in some way, shape, or form. So you should never be ashamed or shy about sharing this with somebody else. So yeah, fake it till you make it. Another quote: you have to walk across the stage alone before you bring anyone with you. That got me to 1-star. I realized that, and it is a huge team effort. Getting to 1-star is a huge team effort. You need people with you to do that. But you also have to be willing to lead from the front. And I wasn't willing to do that until I heard that. And I was like, oh, okay. So then that kicked my butt in gear to get there by the end of the year. Don't ever wait till the end of the year. It's too stressful. Don't do it. And I'm looking at I have notes, if you guys can't tell. I've been like looking back and forth to make sure I cover everything I wanted to cover. Another question for you: what are you willing to sacrifice now for the life you want later? That one got me good. And then I will leave you with this: I don't take the leap of faith for the landing. I take the leap of faith for the experience of soaring through the air. That's Brene Brown. And since my word of the year is leap, that's kind of a quote that has been kind of going back and forth in my brain, because the process of getting to the landing the last 3.5 years, which I don't plan on landing anytime soon. I don't really ever want to land. I want to keep flying. The process is what will change your life. And you're not just going to miraculously step into that person that you want to be because of coaching. It's the victories, it's the struggles, it's the bumps in the road, it's the times when it's really hard and you push through anyways. It's the times when you wonder if it's even worth it, because there will be moments you wonder if it's even worth it, but you push through anyways. That journey is what's going to give you or get you to the person that owns that vision. So yeah, that's hopefully some things that will help you. And I hope it's not too tough lovey, but those are things that help me whenever I'm working this business. So I hope it helps you too. Question. Yay. If you've already gone through your friends, including Facebook and family, for invites, where do you find people to invite? You will never, ever fully go through all of the people that you know, because I've been doing this 3.5 years and there's still some people that I'm like, holy cow, I haven't asked that person yet. So never give up on your warm market. I'll tell you my process. I started with Facebook. If you're not at 5,000 Facebook friends yet, what are you waiting for? Get there. Now, don't do it too fast, and make sure, like I learned like the hard way. I went way too fast, and now I have friends I'm constantly weeding out because I was just like so excited as a new coach. I was like, oh, this person, that person, this person, that person. Yay, I'm going to help all the people. No, there were some people in there that were not my people. But Facebook is where I grew first. So, I friend requested friends of friends. It's not weird. It's 2023. You're growing a business on social media. It's fine. If it's meant to be, they'll friend request you. Almost all of my team, well, not some of them are Instagram too, but almost all of my team I didn't know before coaching. And I'm so glad, and they're so glad that they either followed me or a friend requested me or I friend requested them or however it happened. I don't even know how we all connected, but I'm so glad. So don't feel weird friending people's friends. If they look like your people, I'm like, yeah, this will be fun. Let's do this together. And then growing on Instagram. Now you guys have a pro at that, so I probably don't need to tell you much about that, but I've connected with people through like art teacher pages on Instagram. I've connected with people through twin mom pages on Instagram, and I just follow them. I'm like, oh, they look like my kind of person, and I follow them, and hopefully we connect in some way, shape, or form after that. If not, if they don't follow me back, then it's not a big deal. You can always clean out your list later. But I ran, not that you ever run out, but I started expanding my network from like day one almost, just because my coach told me to. So I went through my friends, I went through my family, and then I started expanding. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what I do. Any other questions?
I feel like I know kind of the answer to this, but I love first that you're just like, my coach told me to do it, so I just did it. Like, we just need to sometimes listen and take the belief from them, right? And we get into our own heads about it. So I just love that. But you said you went from, now you're like SC 10, 20, which is amazing. But for the retreat, obviously you were 10xing that. So what changed, or what actions did you change? Or was it just that you just stayed up later for your power hours, you didn't sleep? Like, what did that look like, and what did that mindset shift kind of look like too?
Well, one thing for me is before that, I never really pushed a launch. Like when a new program came out, I would get excited about it. I'd be like, I'm doing it. Who wants to do it with me? Like generally to my group. But whenever Gut Protocol came out and that contest came out, I actually launched that program. And when I say I launched that program, I mean, I reached out to every single customer that I had signed up in the last 3 years, regardless of if they were still like a BOD member or not. And you can print out your customer list. You guys probably know this. If you go into your Coach Online office, you can print out your customer list. You can sort it by if they're a BOD member or not, if they're not a BOD member, if they were a customer lead, or if they were, because leads, I did not bother with leads. They get my emails. I try to connect with them when they're a new lead through an email, but I don't spend a lot of time on that. But yeah, I invited every single customer that I invited and followed up, even if they didn't respond to my first invite. I'm not always that consistent with doing it if they don't respond to my first invite. Usually if they respond to my invite, they go on my follow-ups list. That way, if, sometimes conversations fall through the cracks or whatever, I can follow up with them later. But when it came to my girls and my customers that had said yes to me in the past, that was where I pulled from first for the Gut Protocol pushes, because if they said yes to me before, they might be interested in this now. So I invited them, and then a couple of weeks later followed up if they didn't respond. If they did respond, obviously I was following up with them then too. And then when it came to new people, because it was like probably 50-50, maybe a little more old people than new people. I don't know. I never really kept track. I was doing more. I was doing more connecting, more inviting, more following up. I usually go through my story viewers every single night, but I made sure, when I say usually, it's not always consistent. I made sure I went through my story viewers. I made sure I don't always go through my reels and stuff. Sometimes that's trickier when your reels aren't reaching the people you want them to reach. But I was going through my reels. I was like weeding out people like crazy. So it was just more time and more work, but totally worth it because, one, I got to go on some fun trips, but two, I got to help some people that really needed help with Gut Protocol. Like that program in itself, if you need a program to launch that program. Maybe she'll run another retreat contest. I don't know. That's a huge push for people, but launch that program because or any nutrition program really. You don't have to launch a fitness program. I'm launching 2B Mindset now. I can't believe I started with that program and I've never done a specific 2B group. It's crazy to me. So I'm launching To Be Mindset right now to help people with that. A lot of people need help with nutrition. We have amazing tools for that. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, Heather. Yeah. Anything else? I know you guys try to keep these to a half hour, so I was trying to talk fast.
No, this is great. This is really awesome. Yeah. If you guys have any questions for her, please put them in the chat. Sarah, I was just going through your stories, and I feel like you're someone that you have such a busy life, like, especially because you're still working full time. You have such a busy life, but every day you show up and provide so much value. And so I guess my question is, how do you do that? Like, how do you find the time? And I'm sure that you, like all of us, we kind of feel, especially in the beginning, it's like, who's going to care about my life? Like, I don't have anything interesting to share. I'm not important. How can I provide value where I feel like I don't have any value to share? Like, how did you kind of get over that? And how do you show up every day and like share the things you share?
Yeah, well, people like normal. It's weird. People like normal and they like routines. So like for my stories and stuff, like I'm just posting the life around me. I try, when it comes to providing value and keeping engagement up on my stories, I try to like have it, when people watch your stuff, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. So if they can relate to something in my story in some way, shape, or form, whether it's me like asking a silly question or posting it, like instead of just posting my workout, maybe I'll try to post like a motivational quote alongside of it, so that can like motivate somebody, or maybe I'll be, like team cardio, team weightlifting, like so they can vote on that for a poll. So when it comes to like my stories and providing value, I'm just like, people like to see your normal everyday life. And even if you think it's not important, they don't want to see all the the fancy stuff's fun. When you go on a trip or whatever, share it. They like to see that too, but they want to see how they can be in your shoes. And your normal life is how they can be in your shoes. That your people that you're going to help are like you. So I don't know. I just share like the silliness around me, the boys, the dog, whatever it is. I don't just spew Beachbody all over the internet. I try my best. I actually try not to use Beachbody terms at all. I occasionally, like today, I did the body, we are body thing, because that's a huge thing right now. But I don't. And I don't always want people to know necessarily that I'm a coach right away, because I want them to connect with me more on a personal level, through whether they're, if they're a boy mom or twin mom or teacher or whatever it is. And then when it comes to providing value, like through my posts and reels, like I said, like sometimes I literally just go through reels, and if there's one that connects with me, I know it's going to connect with my people. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. If I'm like, hey, that's funny, I'm like, oh, my people would think that's funny. And then I just, I don't overthink it. I just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, make it, post it, might be crappy, might go viral, even if it's crappy. I don't have a lot of viral reels, but my reels are reaching more than my posts. So and when you go into it, like, how can I help somebody? And I think about the old me, really. I'm like, how could I help her? Then you're just automatically going to start doing that, because it's no longer about you. It's about how can you help the old you, that mama that I was, the mom struggling, sick and tired on the couch every single night, not being the mom that I thought I was going to be after having 3 kids. So how can I help her, whether it's an easy meal or whatever? I see some questions. How do you track your invites and follow-ups? I track my follow-ups through Google Sheets, which is like Excel. And I don't track my invites at all. I send way too many invites to write down every single person I invite. But I do track my follow-ups. I have a Google Sheet, and it literally has their name or IG handle. And then it has a blank section that I write notes on, like if they told me they're pregnant or expecting a baby, or, like, oh, they've tried this before, it didn't work out for them or whatever. And then in the third column, I put a date as to when I want to follow up with them. So I don't put the date I initially contacted them. I probably could do another column, but I just put when I want to follow up with them, and I always sort by that column, so I know I'm going through in the order I want to follow up with people. So that really works well for me. I usually have a lot more follow-ups closer to the end of the month, just because I'm usually doing a new challenge, and usually that's when I follow up with people, is when I'm doing a new challenge of some kind. How do you break the confidence barrier? I'm fine once I get to talking with someone about it, but it's the initial start of the conversation. I think about where I was before this, and I have absolutely no problem making that step from being just like, hi, I'm Sarah, I'm an art teacher, I'm a mom, to, hey, thanks for hopping on my stories. I have a new nutrition challenge coming up. I don't know if you saw that I was sharing about it, but I would absolutely love to tell you more about it. So I don't know if that's what you're asking, like, how do I go from that to that when it comes to confidently inviting? I also talk more in person to people about it now too, which I did not do at the beginning. I was very like, I'm in my own little coaching world over here online, but I'm not going to talk to you in person. No way. No, now I like get so excited about it that I like, if it comes up, it doesn't always just naturally come up in conversation, but if it comes up, I'm like, yeah, I have a new group coming up. You should do it with me, like teachers and stuff at school. But I will tell you, my coach she worked in my schools. I teach in 2 schools. My coach worked in my schools. She has most of the people at my schools. So if you're like, oh, there's nobody, like my coach lives local to me, you know so many more people. Don't tell yourself that lie. I don't know if that helps. Heather, and I don't know if I even answered your question, but kind of just went into the other questions.
No, that was awesome. That was really helpful. Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions in here, but I know that this hit home with a lot of people on this call tonight. Just some of the things that you said, like I wrote down truth love. I loved that. Instead of like tough love, truth love. I definitely need to run a free group soon. Like forgot about that and just like forgot that was.
They're kind of a pain, but I always think about how I started that way and I was a freeloader at the beginning. So
yeah, when you said that, you're like, I'm like, yeah. Non-negotiable power hours. I feel like I get so caught up in the day, and like what you said, you're like working your business all day, but then at the end of the day, I'm like, did I send any like connection messages today? Did I answer my DMs like I said I would? Like, there are just so many things that I'm like, wow. And so maybe it's not even a full hour. Like maybe it's like, okay, Heather, can you give yourself 20 to 30 minutes, non-negotiable every day, that you do move the needle business building things? Because I know that I'm not. Like, I know that I'm not doing things that I did year 1, year 2. And we know in this business that it's all about the basics. Like, success in this business is doing the basics over and over and over again. And so I really liked your just making a non-negotiable daily power hour. And then the last thing, when you said a push season, I think that's really important to remember, is that it's not a push forever, and that we need to know when to, like, you know, put the pedal to the metal and like really, like before a retreat, before a big push for a rank, like you're hustling during a season, and then it's okay. You can, and I think sometimes people get afraid of that hustle because it's like, well, I don't want this hustle to take over my life. And it's like, it's not. You just need to learn when to hustle and when to not completely quit, but take your foot off a little bit.
It's like consistency and then hustle, 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 and then consistency. Just consistency. It doesn't have to be huge, but it has to be consistent. If you're looking to do anything with this business. If not, it's a hobby. And someone told me once, hobbies are fun, but they don't pay you much. They usually cost more money. And that's true about coaching. If you treat it like a hobby, it's probably not going to pay you much, but.
So true. Love that. Okay, well, clearly tonight was amazing because we went 20 minutes over what we said. So you're awesome. And that was really, really helpful. And we do have it recorded, so I can send it to you too if you want to post it. But
yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys letting me practice on you.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah, it's the best. And I know it like feels so good to like get out of your comfort zone and do this.
It does. I get nervy, and then I'm like, I need these. Like, I get nervy excited, and I love talking to people about coaching. I love it. So I just always hope it helps.
So good. Thank you so much, Sarah. And
thank you.
We have our next call in 10 minutes, so we'll see most of you in a few minutes, but yeah, thank you so much for hopping on and hope you have a good night. Love you. Bye.